Okay, it's time to make the video. Who is most likely to cheat on you? By personality and my life experience. And yeah, I'm trying some new hair thing. I kind of look like a, you know what. Okay, here we go. I have never seen an ENFJ cheat. Ever. So most likely they are the victims. Now, this isn't to say anybody can or can't be. This is my experience, and here's why. If somebody has an FE in the top 2, they will do anything that they can to try to save that relationship. So it would seem no matter what. But if your FE is not in the top 2, you are a target, or at least you're somebody who might hurt somebody else, because you do not value other people's feelings the same way somebody in the top 2 would. So the 4 protected classes for FE who will not cheat on you by stereotype and my life experience are INFJ, ENFJ, ISFJ, and ESFJ. These 4 will do anything that they can to save the daggum freaking relationship with you. So you have nothing to worry about. Now, that doesn't mean to say that they can't be pushed to the edge. If they don't feel love in return for an extended period of time, then they may do something to, help fill that void. So nobody's perfect. These are those who are most unlikely to hurt anybody else. Now, next, who is most likely to toy with the idea of hurting you? Now, they don't deliberately hurt. These are those who consider emotions to be playful. So it's kind of a fun thing to just mess with it. They're most likely to flirt with somebody at the gym. Like, yeah, they're definitely flirting behind your back. And they will give you every reason under the sun why that's still ethical. They're not crossing any lines, but they're dangerous when it comes to playful emotional play. ESTP and ENTP, they will consider it an option to mess with your emotions. And by doing that, meaning messing with somebody else's emotions or just playing. Hey, there's no harm in flirting. There's no harm in downloading some sort of app because I'm making friends. See, they're just toying with it. Do they do it intentionally to hurt? Not necessarily. So I'll defend them for that. But I've known a couple who have. All right, moving on. Those who are FE inferior, aspirational, they don't even care to hurt your feelings, meaning that they probably won't. Not necessarily one of the 4 protected classes, but they don't really consider this to be a thing. So you're more safe with these 2. INTP and ISTP, not likely to hurt you, not likely. But doesn't to say that they can't, but they feel deeply, and therefore they're not going to really do that. They'll just not give you the time that you want, necessarily. You won't feel overwhelmingly loved by them per se on a consistent daily basis like you would the top 4 classes. They'll definitely show love in their own way. Okay, moving on. Now we have those who may or may not even consider your feelings at all. Well, who are they, Eric? Oh, I'll tell you. I'll tell you exactly who they are. And they don't necessarily try to hurt. They might just feel hurt, okay? So, INFP and ISFP, the coin flip FEs. You liking this so far? How you guys liking this one? If you like it, we'll recreate it in a pink shirt video over on YouTube. We're working on a very big one between INFP and INFJ right now. So there's a heads up on that. All right, here we go. Now this one's touchy. The FE critics, ENFP and ESFP. Can you guess how we act with this? I've been told by ENFPs. I've seen more victim ENFPs than those who would cheat ENFP-wise. But I have been told by ENFPs, by this code. The code is, if there's no clear and present danger, then what's the harm? So ENFPs may be kind of like the FE childs might be, like ESTP and ENTP. Again, they're NE dominant, so considering options might be a thing. But I do not think ENFPs have enough energy to try and maliciously attack, okay? They're not gonna do it by intention. I think ENFPs would try to save the freaking relationship because they feel deeply, even as FI parents. They do, but they may not realize that they're hurting you. Okay, so that isn't to say that they can't, and I've heard that one more of a 50-50. So these 2 are more 50-50 because we're critical of emotion itself, of your emotions, so we understand it so well we can play with it. So the critic function of FE. ESFPs, yeah, unless that ESFP is traumatized like myself from another ESFP, mind you, then ESFPs are very likely to cheat. Very likely, unless they have a very deep bond, then an ESFP will be so attached to you that it's almost unhealthy. It's very weird if an ESFP is highly attached. But ESFPs are very open to somebody else's opinion. And that's what happened to me. So my partner was told from somebody else, you might as well get married or find somebody else because you're at that point where you got to make a life decision. And that did not go well. Let me clarify, my ex. My amazing wife right now, ISFJ. We have a fantastic bond. It's a shadow relationship, and I highly recommend those as the best partnership for most people. Most pairings I have ever seen are shadow relationships, which are really cool. We can talk about that differently. There's different types of pairs and so on and so forth. That's because you can live parallel with your shadow. Anyway, every relationship can work if you put in the work. Okay, moving on. ESFPs are very likely to find some flighty feeling of feeling validated because we find our value in our talents and our outside things. So if you validate something on the outside that we have done. Look at me. I mean, I'm in a flashy environment. You validate my flashy environment, I will feel validated by you. That's how you get an ESFP in your corner. You just fluff us up. But then you got love languages to consider as well. And I'm talking mostly about the ESFP at this point because I am one. So if you know somebody's love language combined with who they value's opinion, and you're on their side and you validate their love language, that's how any relationship won't even be considered a cheating environment. Why would somebody cheat? There's no point in that. That's the most destructive thing you can do, okay? Being a victim of this. It is beyond words horrible. And most love songs are written from some sort of perspective of this. Believe it or not. So there you go. ESFPs will be caught up in the moment, so they do not intentionally mean to hurt by any means. Being SE dominant and FE critic, they will make excuses, or we will make excuses to try to get something that we want in that moment, even though down the road, being NI inferior, we don't have vision for what that can cause. So I'm sorry if you've been cheated on by an ESFP. A lot of people have been, including myself even being one. It is horrible. Okay, let's move on. That isn't to say that anybody can't be traumatized and then make protective measures the rest of their life to compensate, which is what I have been through. So anyway, the next pair are FE blind, and they won't, it's not even, no, they're so black and white that if they do, which I have seen, they will explain the reasoning why. It will make logical sense as to why they would have hurt you. Talking none other than the INTJ and the ISTJ. They are black and white thinkers, usually Enneagram type 1s. They seek for the righteous choice, the right choice. So it is not necessarily wrong to them if they do something that is obviously objectively wrong. So this is their subjective truth. And if they feel that that is right to stay with you, they are locked in forever. INTJs having big vision and ISTJs being very good rule-abiding people. So it's not likely that they would. So I don't know why an INTJ-INFJ relationship that I know of, that's on the tip of my tongue here, the INTJ cheated. What the frick? Yeah, you wouldn't think that'd be the case, right? INTJs can slam a door like you wouldn't believe. And INTJs can certainly ghost. And, you know, they make long-term decisions very quickly. So that is not out of either's wheelhouse, but way more likely an INTJ to cheat than an INFJ, okay? It's where the FE placement is. One is blind, INTJ, and one is parental, INFJ, obviously. So, okay, now we have the final pair. These are FE demons. As a personal trainer, you're kind of a therapist. That's one of my side hustles, has been personal training for almost more than a decade now, actually. And being close to my clients of all personality types, which is where a lot of my stuff comes from, I'm told intimate and personal things. And I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus by saying this. And, you know, the ESTJ and ENTJ, okay, one is NI blind, who does not have a big picture for the future. And they will do anything that is logically, contractually, to get out of something if they do not want to be in there anyway. And that is the ESTJ. And I have personally only seen one relationship with an ESTJ work long-term. That is, even though they're NI blind, their partner has a very healthy use of this. And so I'm sure that partnership behind closed doors works. But an ESTJ who serves papers because that's what they really want, but they were cheating the entire damn frickin' time. Sorry, I'm swearing and I'm protecting somebody. But it is not okay for you to serve papers when you are the one at fault. Okay, moving on, I get off my soapbox. And feel free to send this to anybody who might need a slap in the face or just that section. I don't know, okay? I'm not trying to be that guy, but I'm trying to also defend people and share things without being too personal. So I apologize, but we haven't talked about the ENTJ. ENTJs are strangely forgiving. They strangely see the good in people who hurt them over and over again. I have seen ENTJs be cheated on, and ENTJs who have had those conversations with their partner saying, hey, I don't feel validated, and I want to consider this, but I want to know your feelings. Strangely enough for an ENTJ. Now, that would be strange. Why is that strange? Well, they're TE dominant. What's most efficient? Has no play. TE has no play in this. And yeah, relationships are eternal. Now, I come from a spiritual background where we believe that we are together even after death. Okay? Eternal relationships, it's a thing. Also, a healthy ISFJ over here just added something. She says, a healthy ENTJ knows that is a reflection of you, not necessarily them. It's more of a perspective thing with an ENTJ. They're really good at perspective. I mean, being in leadership, you would have to be, right? A lot of ENTJs seek for that as a life path. So someone's drug of choice of life being power and being on top, though they do step on eggshells to get there. Think of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Donald Trump. What they're doing deep down might be for the betterment, or they're just hurt. I mean, they're still human. So I'm curious about your thoughts on that. That's my experience with that particular type, and my experiences with every single type. So there you go. Now, I'm not right. I'm just sharing my experiences and where the FE placement is, because that is the function in our brains that consider other people's emotions and feelings. External, extroverted feeling, emotion, empathy. I love you all. If you're not following and commenting, then you're cheating on me. And yeah, you know who you are. I see you. But I love you either way. Let me know your thoughts and experiences. Much love. Eric Osman out.